Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you for tuning in into another of my videos slash podcast. What I want to talk about today is the last Airbender, the Avatar, the animated series. In 2024, we got the new Avatar live action. Watch a couple episodes. My son wanted to see where it comes from, so I showed him the animated series. And we deep down into the animated series and we finished it since beginning to end. It's not a long series in the sense of the seasons. They are very solid, however. Each season represents one of the elements he has to learn. First season, he has to learn the water bending. Second season, the earth bending. And third season is fire bending. He finds a master in each of the seasons to teach him how to master one of the elements. You see the whole journey of Aang in less than a year, I think, that he woke up from the frozen ice that he was in to the end of the whole war. Very solid story. Mostly, I was surprised because it was American produced. Nickelodeon had to do with it, and the solid story that it had was very different than what I was used to. We previously had the monster of the week that some people call it. Each episode had to do with one task, one goal, one purpose only. Instead of this, anime was like a regular Japanese anime. You had a long-term goal with an episode that still had its own story but had to do with the goal at the end of the journey, and that was very exciting to see. And it was older, it's been in the early 2000s that was produced and made. First episode, you can tell it was a pilot, very different than the rest of the episodes. The touch, the drawing, and everything. And through this whole journey, first, second, and third season, the third season is the animation is great. It's amazing. It's a solid animation. I still enjoy it. Still looks very good. Story wise, it has every point that I get to enjoy. Some people might disagree. Some people might want something a little darker nowadays. However, for a kid, I think it got the perfect balance of light and darkness and different messages that are necessary to understand. You see Aang from when he came out of ice, he was still a kid. And we tend to forget just because he was the Avatar doesn't mean he was not a kid. He still had to enjoy things as a kid. Just he had he had to finish something that was hard for him to do at that age. Through the whole journey of Aang, we find out all the other avatars, the stories about him. Very few pieces, but very meaningful. We don't find out about their whole lives. However, we see that Aang was the youngest of them that had to do this in their life. Most of them had their tests, their journey, their very rough choices later on when they were adults and had to do this when he was very young. So you see the difference. He has a lot to do with that. He was still a kid to be put into this difficult task at that young age. However, you see how he built his whole team through the whole journey he has. He's able to make friends, allies, and get to know everybody. And because of his upbringing makes him a good avatar. He doesn't judge. He tries not to kill. And at the end, this is very important because he keeps himself from deteriorating himself. He finds a way for everything else. There's times that he's very childish, that if he would have taken things serious, he would have had a different outcome. However, this journey shows us different parts of everybody. Even shows us little parts of the Fire Nation and shows us why they became the way they were. This is a good anime. You have to look back and really enjoy those. I grew up with it and it's still very solid in a lot of aspects. The message is still strong. It has a very well connected character that they become all friends. Some of them are enemies, then are friends. Very good story. It always keeps you guessing what might happen. It's not totally predictable. When you think something is gonna happen, it doesn't really happen the way you expect it. So it really keeps you out of your toes certain times. The good guys don't always win. Like in real life, they win less battles than the bad guys. They just win the important ones. That's how they win the war. Most of the time in real life, you find in history books the people that won the real battles. The people who won the war didn't really win all the battles. So you find that, and the action is very good. The fighting is great, so it keeps you entertained. It's very solid. It has a lot of everything, and towards later on in the season, it just brings a romantic story to it of different characters, and that's very good. When you get older, you see and you enjoy it. As a kid, it's you don't really need it. I believe this anime has aged very good with messages, the animation style, the whole story, fighting, and the character development. It has done very well through the years. I don't think it has a lot of flaws like all their animes. I just think it's solid. It's not too much of nonsense. Like older animes have a lot of things that now if you remake them, you want to make a better solid story. This anime had that all around it. And it's not necessary to just redo it again. I think it's gonna live through the test of time, like Dragon Ball did. It's very solid, very good story. You see how good guys help each other, then bad guys join them, or guys that used to be bad, they find their way. It talks about honor. It just talks about what choices sometimes will have to come in life, about following people we think are right but are wrong, and then we gotta make our own path. There's are messages that really hit you later on when you think about it, and it's good to have your kid watch. Message of having to follow your own path, and sometimes you have to do good even if other people don't think it's good. Through time, I think this anime has grown more and more in me. It just feels right to say that. Rewatched it. I watched it years ago when it first came out, finished the season in the 2012. I watched it again, and it's just very enjoyable. And now I watched it again, and I still enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it more now this time. As an adult, you see more of messages, you pay attention to more of the details and the sad stories that make an impact in this whole thing. And it's not about just having fun with this. You got very dark stories, very dark messages too, and it gives you a little bit of everything. It gives you a whole view of all the characters and why they are the way they are. Doesn't really touch some subjects. However, it just gives you a little step in so you can make your own assumptions and work with it. I'm really glad that they make the live action. It's very different. However, this one still holds the top. This one still holds here. Animates are really hard to top with a live action. Different issues from creating the scenes, recreating the story in live action. You have to change a lot of things. However, I watched the live action. It follows pretty good. There are things that have to be changed. You can't just draw things. You gotta CGI it. However, this anime, it's a very, very good script for a live action, and it has done well. I just think you guys should watch it, give it a try. Maybe your kids will like it. It's safe, message neutral, doesn't have any hidden messages, and I love that about this anime. And it doesn't have too much adult stuff in it, if you know what I mean. It's very safe, very enjoyable, and the last airbender gives a good message at the end of the day. So that's all I really wanted to say, guys. Let me know what you guys think, comment down below. Any other animes you want me to talk about, just send it. We'll watch them, we'll talk about it. Have a good one, guys. Take care, and thank you for your time.